and welcome to another episode of You First. That's right, and you. It's all about you. I'm Shawanna Kennedy, and I'm excited because we get to talk all things self-care, mental well-being, what empowerment, because we empower you to put yourself back on top of the list. We are here to help you be a priority in your own life. It not just be a temporary fix, but it be a part of your lifestyle. I'm excited, and I've often said part of the reason why this is important to me, for me to do this and be here for you, because I understand what it truly means to make yourself a priority. A few years ago, I experienced a blood clot from working. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, right? I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a business owner, and I get it. And so, through my walk, my self care, my self awareness, my awakening journey, this is one of the things that took me down the path. And now I get to do it for all of you. And I'm excited, and I am privileged to have some amazing people to join me. One of them being here with me today. I'm excited to have my girl, Keaver Brenai. She is an award-winning voiceover actor. She has been on, you name it, she's done it. Nike, Netflix, Prime, Amazon. Matter of fact, I believe I even heard her voice on a little bit of Cardi B. She has done it all and is still continuing to do it, and to have her voice be some of the voices that we hear on some of the major platforms, McDonald's, you name it. I'm telling you, my girl Keaver Brenai has done it. But today we are having a heart to heart, and we're talking about harmonizing self-care and what that looks like with vocal and what is that vitality in your vocals. So let's get her in here. Keaver Brenai, all the way from the West Coast. What's up, Keaver? What's up?
Hi, beautiful. How are you? It's so good to see you.
Yes. I'm excited to have Keaver Brenai in the building. Just say hello to our viewers.
Hello, everybody. Hello from the West Coast. The West Coast.
Wow, really? That's what we do. That's what we doing. It is all love up in here. She's like a sister from another mother, right? Another look, Mister. We have history, and I'm so fortunate to get to hang tight with this West Coast beauty and get to be able to learn and collaborate and to work with her. My life is the greater because of God allowing our lives to intertwine. And that's actually a part of self-care. When I think about self-care, when I think about you, it's like thinking about people who God put in your path along the way to just highlight and to help you be better. You as the individual. That's right. You who are watching. Who is it that God has put in your life, in your path, that has made your life the richer because they're present, right? And having those heart to heart, sometimes hard conversations with Keaver. We talk about self-care all the time. And I know, Keaver, look, they don't want to hear any more about me. This is all about you. With you being all over the globe, being in a booth, right? This young lady gets to be in the booth, and her voice is on some major platforms all around the world. I got to talk about a balancing act. When I think about Keaver Brenai, with the headphones on, with the mic in her hand, like you see, she got one right now. How do you do the balancing act of not being stretched too thin? Let's start there.
Wow. Well, first of all, thank you so much for welcoming me to your amazing show. I am really honored and excited. I'm excited for your journey. I'm excited for you first, and I'm excited for all of the people that you yourself have touched and that you are helped and that you've helped. And I am grateful that you are in my life. So one of the things that I do, putting me first and you first at the top of my day, to balance everything, I have to reset. So even before I get out of bed, right, I'm praying. And then once I get up, I pray some more. I try to, at least reset to the point of saying, okay, God, where do you want to place my voice today? Who do you want me to talk to today? Like, in what ways do you want me to have a softer voice, or a more firm voice, or a more compassionate voice? When I go into a session with a client, right? Is it the client needs to hear a smile across the miles today? Is it that I need to be more attentive because we're working on how do they really want to explain it to me? I do some meditation so that I can ground myself in between sessions. So being able to balance it all is really important, partnered with sleep, water, exercise, mental exercise, as well as physical exercise, and just really taking care of your space and your atmosphere and those people that are in your life.
I love it, and it's important. And I'm glad to see and to know that, those are the things that you truly do,
Mhm.
that you make time for those things. Like I've seen images and pictures of you, even what in your garden and all of that good stuff. Like all of that stuff. This one, she has time to even be in her garden, and we know that's a form of therapy as well.
Yes.
Being in the
Mhm.
garden, and that's a little something I look. I try to have a little bit of a green thumb. I actually did grow a few things this year, people. I really did. I really did. But I know that that is a form of your self care and your therapeutic time for yourself.
Mhm.
Is even being out with your flowers and growing vegetables and things like that. So I love that you do that. Now, because of what you get to do as a career, as a living, I have to ask, and I have to think about going behind the scenes. When you think about some of the stuff that you do, how do you believe that you feel that that voiceover work allow you to express yourself? How is that? How do, in some of the jobs and some of the voiceovers, some of those scripts and things like that? How do you feel, or what does that look like? Do you feel that you're able to bring that part in to really even express your true self? Maybe because of a project, you're like, oh my God, I love this because this is so me.
Absolutely, absolutely. For instance, for sports, I love sports, and most people would think like, "You love sports? Like, what kind of sports do you love? Like, what do you can you play sports? Do you like watching sports?" So I really, really, really love sports. I love basketball. I love football. I play a little golf, play around with that. I love tennis. I love all sorts of different, sport activities, even some hiking. I love rowing and I love cycling.
Hmm.
Yes, I have a hydro rower, by the way, guys. You need to get on that page.
Oh,
Anyway, one of the really cool opportunities I had was being the voice of Nike. And it was a Nike and WNBA spot. So it was a voice of Nike and WNBA. And it allowed me to be like really cool and loud and just like in it to win it. And it was just exciting. And you worked with some really cool ladies. And it was just really, really cool. And then back to back with that, I went on the softer side and got a chance to be a part of the Nike maternity campaign,
hmm.
to speak to women on behalf of maternity and sports. So that was really, really cool. And that was, your compassionate side
I
and your
love it.
information side. So that was nice.
I love that. That is way to go, Nike. Yeah, I love
I
that.
know, right? That they're even
Wow.
putting that message out there is powerful.
It really is. And so that even leads me to my next question for you. When I think about that, what do you do, right, to put yourself and keep yourself in it? What do you do to, when you think about preparing for that mentally, though? Mentally, how do you mentally and emotionally prepare when you think about self-care for some of the roles that you may have to play? And even though we know we're talking about, because you're a voiceover actor,
Mhm.
actress, what does that look like, and how do you prepare mentally, that mentally and emotionally?
Mentally, you have to, I believe it was Jim Quick that said, you need to forget everything in order to remember, right? So I make it a point to forget everything. I do my best to zero out my brain before I do any project, anything. Even for Here Now, it was I had to zero out my day, all of the sessions I had today, paperwork I had to sign, money that you're balancing. It's like I had to zero out my day to be ready and be one for you, right? I had to put you first and show up as me, not as my day and not as my projects and not as stresses or rehearsals or whatever, right? So I really make it a point to zero out my brain, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And when I do that, it gives you more energy. I drink like a couple of bottles of water before I start my day, just to zero out my body and just to reset again, that reset word, of just that you first moment. So it's something that you have to practice. It's not something that you can just do once a month or once a week. It's something that you have to practice and do every day, I feel.
That's good. That's good. We always talking about hydration over here because when you think about whether you're in the booth, if you're at a desk, and it's so easy, unless it's a part of your lifestyle, to
Mhm.
even forget to drink water, depending on what you're doing or how much you're moving around.
Mhm.
Not even
Yeah.
drink water. Uh, I'm loving it.
So
Look.
drink some water.
You see that? That's right. To pause, take a drink. So if you need to pause right now to take a drink, take a drink. Take a drink. Water is your friend. I often tell my little ones, be like, there's a lot of things that we can forget to do in life, but water is your friend. You have to see it as your friend because we can't live without water. We need to do that. And when I think about the season that we're in, it's like you can't get around it no matter what season that you're in. You need to make that at the top of your day. We know that just even drinking water, how it triggers and sets off your organs and your body first thing in the morning. What is it? I believe it's 30 minutes. Within 30 minutes of waking up, we should
Mhm.
be drinking or consuming at least 6 to 8 ounces of water just to help.
Absolutely.
I mean, she's not over there smiling, so I guess I guess I sound like I know what I'm talking about
Yeah.
a little bit, right? And I'm glad to know that you do that. And that actually brings me to another question that I have. When I knew that Kevin was coming and we're talking about the voice, right? The voice, I said, let me pull some great ones out of my hat. So when I think about it, your journey, we know it is undoubtedly, filled with a bunch of milestones. You have a lot of accolades that are hey, this is an award winning person that we're talking to today. I'm
Mhm.
excited. So, what does it look like when you think about that you can share a project of some sort that contributed to your personal professional growth? And how do you intertwine those things as it relates to you remembering you? Because sometimes you can get offers that you'll be saying, whoa, I know we've had times where we couldn't talk because
Mhm.
your schedule is so jam packed. So but what does that look like with growth? And then you still remember you, right? Because we know on the business side, those things are amazing. So what does that look like?
When it comes to growing in your career, in your ministry, I feel even in your life in general, uh, what we talked about previously, like the balance piece
Mm-hmm.
and that whole you first piece really has a lot to do with it. But when I apply it specifically to voiceover, the growth part is meeting other people, right? You learn a lot from those that direct you in these sessions.
Mm-hmm.
You learn not only a lot about them and their directing style and the type of script that you're doing, but you learn a lot about yourself. You learn who you are under pressure. You learn who you are listening to a new voice, giving you a different message. You read in different time frames and at different pacings. You may come into a session where you're given the script 5 or 10 minutes before.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you get on the call, you are in the session, and you don't have the script yet. And the script just comes to you, and you have a few minutes to read it down. It's just like a song. You can go to the studio, and they gave you some tracks to learn, to listen to, and they gave you some melodies and some lyrics to learn. And you get there, and the writer says, you know what? God gave me a different vision. I'm going down a different road, and we're going to switch up the words. We're going to switch up the melody and the harmonies just a little bit, and we're going to do this. So you learn to listen, you learn to hear, and you learn to reciprocate on that, right? So you're growing as you're progressing and as you're experiencing all of these different messages from people. It helps your brain, right, to grow. It helps your verbs and your use of words or tonalities to grow. right? Your ability to look at something and read it quickly and read it succinctly and remember pauses, or your ability to shorthand and write on your script what people are telling you, right? All of that is a part of your growth pattern of life. So coming into it zero so that you can learn and you can listen and you can grow each and every time allows you to build upon what you have. It not only increases your resume on paper, but it increases your resume of the mind, your resume of the body, your resume of your spirit. All of that is growth pattern when it comes to voice overall, because your voice is pretty much you.
I love it. I mean, now I don't know if y'all like me, but I'm over here like, yes, can't you just listen at her voice? Do y'all hear that? I'm over here like, listen at her voice, and it's so clear. It's all in the mic, right? But this behind the microphone, and I love that. And so with that thought, and I think about the power of our voice.
Mm-hmm.
I know this is you first. It's all about self first. It's all about making you a priority. It's all about putting you back at the top of the list. Anybody that ever, if you watch me long enough for any period of time on any platform, you already know I'm a woman of faith. Kever's a woman of faith. But I also want to make sure people understand it's never above your creator. So I'll say that again for the record. It's never above your creator, but he loves us so much so that we are a gift. And oftentimes that gift is forgotten about because of life. Life be life in. And we forget that we are a gift and we are a prize. And I say, once you know your worth, you know your worth to the world, and you are worth it. And so I want you for a moment to it's not necessarily speak to someone who may just talk about the power of the voice and what that looks like, even with self-care, no matter what the season may be for me, if you can do that.
The power of the voice, the power of your voice, the power of my voice, the power of our voices together is so important. It is so number one, 100%, 1 gazillion%, 1 quadrillion% important. Please always remember that. If you can take the time one day, every day, to look in the mirror and just say hello to yourself, right? Hello, Keaver. How are you this morning? How's everything going? I know that you slept well last night, so hey, what are we gonna do this morning, right? What are we gonna look at? I love you, Keaver. If your ear was hurting because you had your headphones on all day, you could say, oh, ears, I love you. You've been so good to me. I've been able to listen all day. I've been to retain some things. Fingers, thank you so much. I love you. You're using your voice to express and to heal and to motivate and to just acknowledge, right? Your voice is powerful. It's also important to take care of that voice. That's the only one you have, right? Just like these bodies that we have, it's the only one we have. So when you use your voice, use it kindly, use it gently. Don't say bad things about people. Don't be a bully. Don't be mean. Don't hate on people. Use your voice, whether it's this voice that's coming out of your mouth, out of your body, this resonation of self, or you're typing something, your voice socially, or your voice for a cause or for a movement. Use your voice wisely. Use your voice well. Use your voice to better something, and even use your voice to better yourself. Your voice is precious, and your voice can be an anointing. Your voice can be a blessing. Your voice can be a healer. Your voice can save someone. So use your voice in a positive way. And always remember to use your voice with a smile. It sends a different message when you smile with your voice.
Now, I'm over here smiling, right? I'm over here smiling like, yes, that's right. We're supposed to smile because it definitely does. So a few years ago,
Yeah.
well, it's been a minute ago, I did some customer service. And one of the things that they did have us to do was to even have a small mirror at our
Mhm.
stations. And it's like before you took a call, that means when you go to grab the receiver, you would really have to look down, because if you're looking down and grab the receiver, you're then looking at the mirror. And that way you can
Mhm.
see what it is, how you look before you answer. And that, I know for me, that was a powerful piece, because you can get lost in your thoughts. But sometimes if you're taking a look at yourself and then
Mhm.
looking at yourself, and then it helps in our conversation and our communication with others, just thinking about the power of our voice, because you said it can help, it can hurt, it can heal. And
Yeah.
it's, what are you using the power of your voice to do? Are we using the power of our voice to lift and to raise? But that also, when I think about the season in which that we're in, and it doesn't matter what season, I do have to ask, because you're a very strong woman, and the power of your voice and thinking about self-care. And I just wanted to, for a moment, to, even when you think about self-care, and then even with loss, self-care with,
Mhm.
and because I see, if you didn't see it over her shoulder, you see that she has a book over her shoulder, a book that she wrote, and it was behind that loss. If you could just talk about it and help someone, possibly during this season, and what that looks and feel like, but then leaning into the self-care portion of that, when we really truly lose someone that we love.
During this time in using your voice, it's always good to remember some of the things that you've been through and some of the times when you didn't really feel like you had a voice, even for yourself, right? And I've had to face those times when my parents passed, when actually some of my brothers have passed, not just one anymore. Um, you have to really find that voice. So I've written a book titled Grief Relief that is my voice on paper. It's my voice sharing with you how I dealt with it, how I experienced grief, and my journey of finding relief. And I don't want to say how I found relief, because it's still a journey, right? So it's the journey of you finding the relief. And at the end of each chapter, I give you like little tidbits, little golden nuggets of 2 or 3 things that I did. And then there are lines there where you can write and you can put your voice to paper, and you can go along and journal what your experiences have been and what you want them to be, right? So using your voice in that area of sharing your grief story with someone else, your voice may help them. But always remember that as you're sharing it, I promise you, your voice may just help you as well. It did for me.
Ooh, juicy. I love it. I love it, because we're talking ourselves through it. And
Mhm.
that's what it's about.
Yeah,
So I love that, and thank you for sharing that. If you are not following Keaver Brenai, make sure you're following her. She's by her name on all platforms. So make sure that you are connected with her. We will have more information about Keaver Brenai on our website. I'm excited that my sis got to stop by you first, come to the platform, and share her amazing voice. As look, she gets to do all over the globe, and I'm glad that you pause for the cause to come stop by the You First studio, and to just have a conversation with myself firsters, right? My people. And
absolutely.
I love
Absolutely.
all of the things that you shared today, to then help us to lean in and think about it, and think about the power of our voice, and thinking about what that looked like when you have to really balance things out, and going behind the scenes, and some of the stuff that we do to look at
Mhm.
our, what does that growth look like in what we're doing, and just to know that it's okay, and that remembering that it's a journey. It is a journey. It's
Mhm.
a journey, right? It's not a sprint. It's not something that we can just come to overnight. We really do have to work at it daily. I love what
Yeah.
you shared. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being here, my friend. And
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. And I
yeah,
also want to add that when you're using your voice, you have to use your voice for the kids too. You have to use your voice for the kids too. And if you remember, the voice that we use for the kids is in our Colors of Nature book. And it's their voice and how they learn about animals in their habitat and the voices that the animals have in a color association.
Mm.
So everybody, please remember, use your voice for the babies this holiday season, but always remember, because your voice is the one that they'll probably remember.
I love it. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, thank you, thank
Yes.
you. Look, don't
Yes.
go away. I'll see you in a moment. All right, guys, I want to just thank you for just tuning in for another amazing episode of You First, because it's all about you, and you. I am Shawanna Kennedy, and I love being your host. Remember, I love what she said. Remember to reset. Take it back to zero. In order to make you first, what's the next number? From zero, there's one, and that one needs to be you first. Make yourself a priority, not just a temporary fix. It has to be about you. So do something today that your future self will thank you for. That's right. Be sure to follow me on all social media platforms because it's about you. And we have a lot of things going on, and it's coming down the pike, and some more amazing guests that are lined up on this next episode of You First. I'll see you guys soon. Bye for now. This episode is brought to you by Kennedy Media and Entertainment, your premier video productions and digital visibility partner. Working with business owners just like you to be seen, heard, and paid by elevating your brand with high-impact video content, online visibility strategies, and expert social media management. Ready to stand out in your industry, on and off camera? Contact Kennedy Media today, and let's turn your message into a movement. Because visibility isn't optional, it's essential. Contact KennedyMediaLLC.com, KennedyMediaLLC.com, and let's boost your brand's visibility. It's time for you to be seen, heard, and known for your expertise. Contact us today.